Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Irma, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the Computer Graphics and Virtual Reality Laboratory here at the Institute of Computer Science at the University of Tartu to the University of Tartu Pro Game Jam and Global Game Jam 2022. That's right, we're doing 2 game jams in one this time. More on that later. But hey, you're not here to listen to me talk. You're here to listen to someone else talk on this video here. So let me just get that started. And that was the video. So now you know the theme for the Global Game Jam 2022 is duality. I hope this sparks ideas, game ideas in you to make your new game, especially if you're going to be participating in the Juniors League, because like I said, this time we're doing 2 game jams, specifically 2 leagues. The Juniors League gets this Global Game Jam theme, and you make your game on that. But if you're a real hardcore professional game developer, or you want to be a pro, well, then you will have to wait for your theme until about 10 o'clock tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Now, but again, you're not here to listen to me talk. You're here to listen to someone else talk. And so without any further ado, I will hand this microphone over to someone who actually knows what they're talking about. A man who knows what he's talking about, because he's going to be talking about game design. So please give a warm welcome and put your hands together for Karl Erik Saks. Yay!
Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? How close do I have to hold this? Okay, good. I'm probably so sorry. I'm gonna break all the rules here and talk without a mask, if that's okay. I will social distance very far away. I am vaccinated. I do have a corona pass with me, proven that it's safe to do so. I hope everyone will allow this. Anyway, I'm here to talk about game design. Over there. I'm Karl Erik Saks. I have an MA degree in linguistics. So I'm not actually one of you guys. You will probably see this eventually during a presentation. I wrote my MA thesis on linguistic design in video games. So I lean more into the video game researcher category than actual developer. And thus, one of my goals has been to look into game design from a very linguistic or language-focused perspective. So, perfect. There we go. I will present my view on design, and my view on design is that it's translation, because I am a translator by trade. It's also kind of like proofreading, but I will explain in a second. And why is design like translation? Well, for that, I will go a bit into theory. I won't stay long here. I'll try not to. During my thesis, I did explore Crawford's theory on what interactivity is. And Crawford said that interaction is a conversation. Generally, we have two people in a conversation where we think, speak, listen. Then when we speak, like, let's say, I think of a sentence to say. When I speak it, it goes through the air to the other person. The other person listens, then thinks what I said, and then speaks in return. And this back and forth is kind of like a conversation, right? Translation theorists will tell you that any kind of conversation is translating because someone may tell you a sentence that you will understand completely differently because your experiences with that sentence are very different. Crawford actually translated this into interaction with computers. And he said that the way how humans interact with PCs is kind of like a form of speaking to a computer. So a computer has three things here. Instead of speaking, thinking, and listening, they have input, output, and then processing, both of these. So we speak to the computer with a controller, be this a mice and keyboard, mouse and keyboard, gamepad, any joystick, maybe touchscreens, anything. So this is our way of speaking with a game. We tell the program or the game what we want to do, then this is input for the computer that they then process with the rules that are written in the code. And then they say, okay, this player or user put this input at this position, and my rules tell me to give them this kind of feedback. And that feedback is usually given in output, which is generally audiovisual. So you see something happen in the graphics or some sounds happen. It may also be physical feedback from the controller vibrating or something. Anyway, this is like the most basic way how to see interaction with a computer. And coming back to how design is like a translation, is that the designer's job generally is to translate the computer code that the computer processes into the human sensory language. So the human logic works very differently from the computer logic, which most of you probably know, because computer logic uses very complex calculations and things, and it's very logical. And generally, the human brain is not very logical, and it wants different kinds of feedback. So the designer needs to translate these logical things and perspectives into something that isn't logical. So what can you design in a game? What can you translate? Basically code. That's the most basic thing. Every programmer thinks that they're a designer. Do you think that this is true? He thinks this is true. Generally, many programmers are good designers, but this isn't always the case. because they have their version and view of the code, whereas generally you need a lot of quality assurance and play testing to see what the real problems of your code are. So what else can you design? Well, interactivity. How do we speak with a program? Basically, this is where controller and button design goes. This design is very lazy in the last 20 years because we just like use the choice gamepads like A, B, X, Y, and dual input and shoulder buttons. And this means that every game designed that wants to go on as many consoles as possible has to at least fit on these controllers. So all the larger strategy games for computers like Civilizations and Age of Empires and these things, they fit on a keyboard and mouse, but they don't really fit well on consoles, and that's why they're kind of going out of style. Then we have audiovisual feedback. You can design how the player reacts to the game. So this is done by graphics and sound. You can give auditory feedback, like little auditory hints that something is happening in a game. And of course, graphics is the duh. If you don't have graphics, it's very hard to make a video game. Then user interface. This is my favorite area of design because this is where most people kind of blank out at is UI and menus. And I will get to what to do with this in game jam design later. And then narrative and world building. This is kind of like this meta design of if your game or program has to have some sort of understanding, then you will also have to look at how this kind of text is presented to the players. And then you can make these categories into millions of smaller categories and basically design anything that the user experiences in a game. So I'd say design is a very creative field. You have to understand the end user and all their different problems that are going to come by. So, Game Jam game design. Since we're taking part of Game Jam that's only going to last 48 hours, you have to realize that there is a very strict time limit. And that means you need to really look at your time management, which means if you're going to design a game, please do not make an RPG. I mean, you can make an RPG, but don't make an MMO. You can make an MMO, but expect it to not be as polished as, let's say, a simple mobile game made by some other team, which is going to get more votes because people can embrace it better. I would say focus on one simple mechanism or loop. Think of a game that you really like and then take one part of it. Like if you think about Grand Theft Auto 5, don't make a game that's a third-person thing. Just take a minimap or something and make a game out of that. Like take one instance, like running or shooting. This is the most foolproof way to bring yourself through a game jam. Second, which is very, very important, focus on the audiovisual as much as the code and mechanics, because you are going to see you may have the most complex and like satisfying game to play. But if it doesn't look like anything, then people are not going to vote for it. The power of the audiovisual is amazing. Games that have really good art and really good audio design are going to get better points because they simply will be more memorable. Fourth, definitely include a menu, at least gameplay instructions and audio settings. Audio settings because if you have audio, then you will be going to presenting it here, which means if your audio is at like 200%, then it's going to blast out at everyone, and this is going to leave everyone with a bad experience. So audio options are welcome if it's present. Gameplay instructions, 100%. I've seen so many Game Jam games where there is a complex idea that actually is really interesting, and then they don't have a how-to-play menu, and they don't even include it in the upload page. So it's virtually nearly impossible to understand what the game developers want from you. If there is a how to play, this is going to prevent frustration. People will understand your game better. And menu is a good thing. You can leave credits, you can give people options to work through, and you can also have like a basic splash screen so that if people run a game on the presentation and it immediately starts going, then it's going to be much more difficult to present it and to show a simple menu. Also, finally, the last hour should be focused on publishing and polishing. If you're still developing your game at the last hours, you're probably not going to finish. And don't worry, this is what we all do all the time. But this is also critical for good time management. Just try to plan that the game, like let's say game mechanics should be done within the first night, and then audio visual design put on later, and then the last hour should be there to make sure that your game is free of bugs, that it looks nice, that people will understand everything they need to, like a menu, gameplay instructions, etc. So leave time for all of these things, please. And since I said design is like translation, think of the final players. Think of the people who are going to vote for your game. You will need to think of how to prevent any potential frustration. So this is what I mean about making a menu, options, and how to play. Your game may be really good, but if somebody who isn't very good at games comes and tests your game and they don't get very far in it, they're going to say this game sucks and they're going to put it away, which means your game is not getting the points that you may deserve, which means design, very important. We will grade the theme, uniqueness of the game, as well as the audiovisual aspects, if I remember correctly. So think of these things as well. Your game has to be memorable enough. And this is what I say, that the best game will not always win. The games that will be memorable, the games that you will be able to remember 3 game jams from now, some of which I still can, are going to be the games that rack more points than complex games. So these may not exclude each other, but usually, like, if a game has good humor, if it's funny, then it's going to get more points, or if it looks good, it's going to get more points than something that's definitely complex. So again, I'm saying, try to focus more on the audiovisual design than usually people do on the programming design, because this is not, the programming is not, I mean, the mechanics are not necessarily the only things that players interact with. And the same thing is said for easier games. I recommend making easier games rather than difficult games, because if your game is too difficult, or I would like to add here, if your game is too long, like say, I think one of the winners of previous game jams, Unstable, it was a really good game and you could get the idea, but I think you needed at least 30 minutes to play through this, and you had like 1 hour to vote for all the games. So try to make something that people can get an idea of rather quickly. Otherwise, they're going to say, oh, this is going to take too long of a time. I can't focus myself on this. And they may say it's a good game, but they didn't play it through, and this is going to lose you points. So this is like a choice quote that I prepared at home, is that a jam game should be presented like a sushi piece, small and beautiful yet delicious. So present it to be visually interesting. It should be small, so don't make anything too complex, so you can manage within the time frame. And yet delicious means that try to still focus on the theme, so it would be unique enough to be memorable and to be remembered for a time to come. And this is probably going to guarantee you better points. And then every game jammer ever. I hope this is, I think this has been everyone's experience at some point. And as a good example, I would like to bring from last game jam. This was by the MIT MIT Institute. They did a game jam for beginners, and this was a winning game. And I think complexity-wise, this was the simplest game, one of the more simpler games there. And I'm going to tell you why it won. First of all, the theme was parasite. And as you can see, they took a very liberal approach to the parasite. They went to the etymology of the word and to eating at another's table. And this is what the game turned out to be. Basically, your character is hungry and everyone else is eating food around you. And you will have to aim and take everybody else's food while they're not looking. If they spot you taking their food, you will get punished. And this is what it looked like. It looked really charming. And this was the simplest game ever. It's like, let's say, flash game level, old internet flash games. And that's what I also tried to say. If you want to think of a concept or like complexity-wise, think of games that you maybe used to play on the internet. Flash games, let's say Nintendo Entertainment System, Game Boy. Complexity level. Not very many mechanics, but like visually pleasing. And this should be a surefire win for you. Thank you. Oh, any questions? Sorry. If any of you ever, like during the jam, if you have any, let's say, questions, or if you want somebody to view or test your game, then ask me. I guess I may act as a tutor. I've worked as a tutor in previous game jam games, and I can offer help and advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Karl Erik Saks. And yeah, I hope that inspired everybody, and everybody's ready to make small, beautiful, delicious, gigantic sushi roll games. But now it's time to move on and get to the team formation portion of this evening. Before we get to that, let me just say a few words about what is going to happen. We are going to do some icebreakers, form some teams, and after that, you are going to make games. Now, I mentioned that we are doing 2 leagues. So the junior league, this is for people who are beginners, who don't feel that confident yet in their game making skills, and they get to make their first game or maybe their second game, but in a very low pressure environment, not very competitive at all. And the second one, the Pro Game Jam, this is for people who feel more confident or who want to challenge themselves, and those that have already participated in some game jams. And once you are you have registered you have formed your team, you will have to register the team in the voting site. This is for both the junior and the pro league, and on that voting site you get to register your team, and later you get to vote on games. And how this exactly happens, all this information is on the Game Jam Discord. So if you're not on the Discord yet, hop on it, and it's also a great place to ask questions if you're in trouble or find team members. Now, let's find out a little bit about you. Let's get to know each other a little bit better. So, raise your hand if you're here and you are you consider yourself a programmer first and foremost. Good. Yeah. Good. It's usually this way. We have a lot of programmers. But now raise both hands if you happen to think that you are an artist and you would like to participate in the jam as an artist, as a visual artist. Yeah, 2 hands. Yeah, perfect. Great. Now we have fewer artists, but the same number of hands raised as with programmers. Now, let's get by a round of applause. Let me know if you consider yourself a sound designer. Yeah, got 1 hand raised, even though I said round of applause. That's fine. And well, let's see, what other roles might there be? Oh, let's do this. Who is here for the junior league? Just wants to do an easy, non-competitive. Good, yeah. Welcome. Raise your hand if it's actually your first game jam you've ever taken part in. Whoa, welcome. I'm very glad to see you all here. Raise your hand if you're here for the Pro Game Jam. Now keep your hand up if you're very confident that you will win the Pro Game Jam. Everybody, that's good. That's good. Maybe there's just not that many people. I mean, I'm counting like 1 team full of people, so it would be pretty easy to win that. Raise your hand if you're, just here for the free food. That's me. Yeah, okay. Raise your hand if you're not here at all. You're just watching this on Discord. Let's hope someone on Discord. And now we got to know each other. Well, I got to know you a little bit better, but I would like to hope that you will get to know each other a little bit better too. And maybe, you've been sitting here for a while. You've just listened to some talks. You watched some videos. It's time to get out of your seat and come on down here. Everybody, come down here, and let's get to know each other a little bit better. Yes. And if you feel uncomfortable, then please just social distance, or you don't have to come down here. Let's line up here, everybody. Oh, it's so nice to see you all up close. It's you are all sitting way in the back, and well, great. Yeah, that's nice. That's a lovely semicircle. beautiful. Let's see if we can do this. Let's form two lines facing each other here so that everybody's facing somebody else. Well, that's lovely, and you're like socially distanced as well, if two. Well, not side to side, but you know. Can we get some music? Something upbeat. And your next task will be I will take a timer, and you will have 1 minute to talk to each other across the line. You find your partner across the line, say hi, you know, see who they are, and you have 1 minute to talk about your favorite game. Time starts. Hang on, time starts. Hang on, time starts. Now, go. And if you want to shout, you can remain socially distanced. Oh no. Yeah, you can just pair up, sure. Okay. And that's time. Let's see. Let's talk to somebody. Hi, hey, what did you find out?
That he just started playing GTA again, Part 5.
GTA 5, yeah. My favorite was GTA 2. It all went downhill from there, in my opinion. What did you find out?
That she doesn't play much. Haven't played lately, 3 months without games, but she did play League of Legends and some Minecraft.
So, are you two going to make a game together?
I doubt it. He's in Pro League, I think. So
No.
Well, fair enough. That's an honest answer right there. Let's see. Let's talk to someone else. How about
I found out he liked Minecraft.
who doesn't? And what did you find out?
That we went to the same school at one point.
What? So what happened? What happened between you two?
Nothing special. We just found out.
Okay. Well, excellent. And now let's do this. Let's say this line moves 3 places to the right. So you're right. So move three spots to the right. Yeah, you will lose your partners, but you can circle around. And yeah, you know, you can join here somewhere. I think everyone should have a partner. Pretty sure. Yeah. And now you all have, let's see, 1 minute to talk to the person standing opposite you, and you will talk about the game you want to make if you had unlimited resources and skill and talent, and money was not an option. Go! That's time. You may separate once more. I know it's hard. Let's see who haven't I talked to yet? Okay, let's see. What did you find out?
She would like to do something from fantasy.
Something from fantasy. What would you like to do from fantasy?
Would like to create like a big world with different characters, good story building, like League of Legends has its lore, and
So you'd like to build League of Legends.
not like that, like my game.
Fair enough. And what did you find out? His favorite game?
He would like to create a game, like a 2D game where you can like solve different puzzles.
Is that correct? Okay, just check that you paid attention. Let's see. I'm gonna talk to you. What did you...
They probably is not gonna have enough time like to make this game and probably go on like pension, or he even makes a game.
Nothing about the game mechanics.
No.
Fair enough. Okay. I think we're acquainted enough. So hopefully, you can take your seat. You can go back, take your seat. Hopefully, you know each other a little better now. See who you would like to make a game with. What sorts of preferences for game development are out there. And these are the people you're going to be spending the next 48 hours with. So before we get to the actual part where where I help you get together and form teams, I'm going to give you a chance to pitch game ideas. This is completely voluntary and optional. If you don't want to, if you don't have any ideas, you don't have to. But this is a great chance if you have an idea but don't have team members and there's something you'd definitely like to do, then this is a great opportunity to achieve that goal. Now, this would be easier for the juniors because you already know the theme, so you can go, well, this theme makes me think of that, and I would like to make a game about that. That's it. But even if you're in the pro league and you'd like to make a game and you don't know the theme yet, you can go, well, I've always wanted to make a game like that, and whatever the theme is, we're going to somehow fit it into that theme. So, given those considerations, is there anybody who would like to pitch a game idea to everyone? Can be pro, can be junior. I will give you a few seconds to think about that. Nobody has game ideas. All the game ideas are on Discord. Everybody on Discord is just raising their hands, going, "Oh, I'd love to pitch a game idea." No, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to. So we can now move on to the bit where we start forming teams. I'm going to start up my computer. You can come down. You can come to me. Well, first of all, you can talk to each other. Talk about maybe if you need team members, you can talk to each other. Say, what do you do? Maybe we can work together. If you already have a team, come down to me, and I will just write down that you already have a team. And then that's it, your team is formed, you get to register it online, etc. And start work on your game. If you have a team and you're looking for more team members, like you don't have a whole team, you only have a couple of programmers, but you need artists, then let me know as well, and we'll help you find other people. And if you don't have a team, and you're just alone, you can come down to me, and I can help you meet up with other people who don't have a team, so you can form a team. And also, right now it seems that the minority of you are here present with me in this auditorium, and everybody else is super responsible and in Discord and taking part online. So that is also a very good place to find team members. So if you're looking for teammates and you can't find them here, please go on Discord, post in the appropriate channel, say, hey, I'm looking for teammates. I'm doing a game, or I have a game idea, or this is my competence. I'm a programmer, or I'm an artist, and I would like to find team members. And there's a very good chance you will meet like-minded people there. Also, if you're posting, definitely mention if you're doing pro or junior league. So thank you, and I expect to talk to all of you in just a moment, right down here, and form your teams. Thank you.